Back to the lead, as you can see from the right side of your screen there, we are waiting for President Obama to come to the podium to take questions for the first time since the death of Antonin Scalia opened up a seat on the Supreme Court. Now, President Obama has said he will nominate someone, but many Republicans say that someone shouldn't even get a hearing, that the vacancy should be filled by the next president. Let's talk about this while we wait for President Obama. Joining me now, CNN senior legal analyst Jeffrey Toobin, CNN political commentator and former communications director for Ted Cruz, Amanda Carpenter, and Democratic strategist Stephanie Cutter, who should we should note, she steered the White House confirmation process for Sonia Sotomayor in 2009. Congratulations on that, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm a little late, but congratulations. So, Jeff, let me ask you, how much can we expect the president to reveal about his thinking process on a nominee today?
Well, certainly he's not going to disclose the names he's considering, but what I'm interested to hear is, will he say anything about the kind of nominee he's looking for? Will he be looking for a sitting judge? Will he be looking for a less conventional choice, like an elected official or a former elected official, or someone who is a private lawyer or an academic? You know, I'd like to hear something about whether the unusual circumstances, which this unified Republican opposition in advance, is changing his thinking about what kind of nominee to put forward.
Amanda, Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley said today he has not ruled out holding a hearing on President Obama's nominee. We also heard Republican Senator Thom Tillis of North Carolina today, who's on the Judiciary Committee. He said he didn't want to rule out a nominee out of hand. Listen.
I think we fall into the trap, if we just simply say sight unseen, we fall into the trap of being an obstructionist.
Is it fair to say that we're seeing some chinks in the armor of the Republicans' resolve on standing unified against any nominee?
Yeah, I'm very fearful that this is the first sign of the dam breaking. They are ruining a very good thing that the GOP has going on right now, because Republicans came out strong immediately and said we are not going to have any hearings. They were making a stand-up principle, not allowing this to become about the nominee, about the person, about it being personal. Now that they're opening the door to it, they were going to ruin that effort. And Mitch McConnell, he's in the leadership position. He has shown that he is willing to crack the whip on conservatives when they get out of line. He needs to crack the whip on them immediately.
Now, I know, Stephanie, you disagree, but let me ask you a different question. I know you disagree with the idea that there shouldn't be a hearing. Right now, there's a debate among...
Thank you for answering my question.
Well, I want to skip ahead to something else, which is right now there's kind of a Democratic debate going on. If it's a foregone conclusion that this person won't get a hearing or it's going to be very tough, should President Obama nominate somebody who will be a rallying cry for Democratic activists out there, somebody very liberal, maybe a woman, maybe somebody who's a minority group, or should President Obama bow to the circumstances? It's a conservative seat, quote unquote, although obviously I think it was Senator O'Connor's before Scalia, but be that as it may, that it was Scalia's seat, and this is obviously a very contentious time in a presidential election year. Maybe pick a moderate. Which do you think he should do?
I think the president is going to do what he's done for the last two times he's picked a Supreme Court nominee. He's going to pick somebody who's committed to impartial justice and to upholding the Constitution. He's not going to look to make a political play. This is one of the most important things a president does as the President of the United States, other than Commander-in-Chief. Picking a Supreme Court nominee who's serving a lifetime on the court is a critical thing for any president. He's going to pick the best person he thinks to fill that position.
Jeff, the New York Times looked at a dissenting opinion that Justice Scalia wrote in which he called the Supreme Court strikingly unrepresentative, and he called for more diversity, for its members not to only be graduates of Harvard and Yale law schools, not to only come from the Northeast or California, New York City, but to reach beyond, maybe pick an evangelical, maybe pick somebody from the Midwest. What do you think?
Well, I think there is definitely something to be said for some products of other than Harvard and Yale Law School being on the Supreme Court. But let's not kid ourselves. What Justice Scalia wants is someone who will vote like he did, regardless of what law school they went to or what state they were from, and vice versa. Democrats, same thing. You know, Samuel Alito went to Yale Law School. Sonia Sotomayor went to Yale Law School. They have very different views on constitutional matters. What matters about Supreme Court justices, I think, is how they come out on issues. Their backgrounds, you know, are interesting, but don't kid yourself. What the partisans want is votes for or against abortion rights, for or against affirmative action, and everything else is secondary.